comfortable. Move without the basketball. Finish at the rim. Head up. Gets by Lasia Clarendon. No.
What if I told you a rookie just did something that's got veteran WNBA coaches shook? Caitlin Clark's latest move isn't just turning heads, it's turning the whole league upside down. What could one rookie possibly do to shake up the entire WNBA? Let's talk about the triple-double that's got everyone buzzing.
More underrated parts of her game.
Man, is it underrated?
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. From rookie to game changer in one night. But here's the kicker. Clark's performance wasn't just about the numbers. What hidden message did her triple-double send to the rest of the league?
Sparks 0 for 9, and Caitlin Clark says, "You gonna give me the lane? I'm gonna." What a pass!
When Caitlin Clark stepped onto the WNBA court for the first time, expectations were sky high. Everyone knew she had talent, but could she really shake up the pro game? At first, it seemed like the answer might be no. Clark struggled to find her footing, facing challenges that made some wonder if she was overhyped. But then, something clicked. Clark didn't just adapt to the pro game, she started to redefine it, and that brings us to the night that's got everyone talking. We're not just talking about a good game here, we're talking about a statement. You might think you know what a triple-double looks like, but Clark's performance was something else entirely. 24 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds. Those aren't just numbers on a stat sheet, they're a message to the entire league.
That luxury. Nice give and go. Clark right at the cup and she gets the bucket.
Great pass.
And Lay comes up with it. Here's Clark in transition where she's dangerous. Leaves it behind.
Here's the thing, Clark didn't start the game on fire. She faced early challenges, the kind that would make most rookies crumble. But instead of folding, she adapted. She found ways to contribute even when her shot wasn't falling. And as the game went on, she didn't just get better, she took over. What makes this triple-double so special? It's not just about the individual achievement. It's about how Clark's performance lifted her entire team. She didn't just score, she created opportunities for her teammates. She didn't just assist, she controlled the flow of the game. And when her team needed rebounds, she was there, fighting for every loose ball. This performance wasn't just a flash in the pan, it was a sign of things to come. Clark showed that she's not just here to play, she's here to lead, and that's what's got the WNBA buzzing. You might be wondering, okay, but it's just one game, right? Wrong. This triple-double is a turning point. It's the moment when Clark proved she belongs not just in the league, but at the top of it. She's showing that she can impact the game in ways that veterans with years of experience struggle to match. And here's where it gets really interesting. Clark's performance is forcing teams to rethink their entire strategy. How do you game plan for a player who can hurt you in so many ways? Do you focus on stopping her scoring and leave her teammates open? Do you try to cut off her passing lanes and give her space to shoot? There's no easy answer, and that's exactly what makes Clark so dangerous. But the impact goes beyond just game strategy. Clark's play is inspiring her teammates to raise their game. She's creating a culture of excellence, pushing everyone around her to be better. And that's the kind of influence that can turn a good team into a great one. Clark's triple-double might be making headlines, but it's what's happening to her team that's really turning heads. Remember when the Indiana Fever were struggling to stay afloat? Now they're the team nobody wants to face. What changed? The Indiana Fever are on fire, and it's not just because of Clark's stellar performance. They've notched 5 straight wins and claimed victory in 7 of their last 8 games since the Olympic break. This isn't just a lucky streak, it's a total transformation. Let's rewind for a second. The Fever were in a tough spot not too long ago. Their playoff hopes were hanging by a thread, and fans were starting to wonder if they'd ever see their team make a comeback. Fast forward to today, and the Fever are sitting pretty with an 18-16 record. That's not just good, it's a complete turnaround from where they were. But here's the kicker, it's not just the Clark show. Sure, her triple-double was amazing, but have you seen what Aya Boston's been up to? We're talking 24 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists in a single game. That's the kind of performance that makes opponents lose sleep at night. So what's really going on here? It's simple. Clark's play is elevating everyone around her. She's not just putting up numbers, she's creating a culture of excellence. When your rookie is playing like a veteran, it pushes everyone to step up their game. Suddenly passes are crisper, shots are falling, and defensive stops are coming at crucial moments. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a team go from playoff long shot to legitimate contender this quickly? The Fever aren't just winning games, they're dominating them. They're playing with a confidence and swagger that's catching everyone off guard. And here's where it gets really interesting. Opponents are starting to take notice. The Fever aren't sneaking up on anyone anymore. Teams are coming into games knowing they're in for a fight. That's the kind of respect you can't buy. You have to earn it on the court. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The Fever still have work to do. They're not at the top of the standings yet, and there are plenty of tough games ahead. But the momentum is real, and it's changing the entire landscape of the WNBA. You might be wondering what's next for this red-hot team. Can they keep this pace up? Will Clark and Boston continue to dominate? And most importantly, how far can this sudden surge take them in the playoffs? One thing's for sure, the Indiana Fever are no longer the team you can overlook on the schedule. They're the team that's making every other coach in the league rethink their game plan. And in a league as competitive as the WNBA, that's saying something. Just when you thought you'd seen it all with the Fever's turnaround, Curt Miller drops a bombshell in his post-game interview. His words aren't just surprising, they're redefining how we look at rebuilding in the WNBA. Picture this, the game's over and the press is gathered, waiting to hear what Curt Miller has to say. The tension in the room is palpable. Miller's Sparks just faced off against the red-hot Fever, and everyone's expecting the usual post-game platitudes. But what comes next catches everyone off guard. Miller starts off visibly frustrated. He's not happy with his team's performance, and he doesn't mince words. We missed rebounds. Our spacing was off. It's the kind of criticism you'd expect from a coach after a tough game. But then Miller takes an unexpected turn. Instead of dwelling on his team's shortcomings, Miller shifts gears. He starts talking about the Fever, and his tone changes completely. I've watched teams that have built through the draft. Now you see it here with multiple draft picks in a row. He says, it's not just acknowledgement, it's respect. This is where things get really interesting. Miller, a veteran coach with years of experience, is essentially tipping his hat to the Fever's rebuild strategy. He's seen teams try to build through the draft before, but what's happening with the Fever? It's something special. Think about it. When was the last time you heard a coach praise an opponent's long-term strategy right after a game? Miller's not just talking about one good performance. He's acknowledging a fundamental shift in how the Fever have built their team. But Miller's words carry even more weight when you consider the context. This isn't just any team he's talking about, it's the Fever, the same team that was struggling to stay relevant not too long ago. And now, they're forcing coaches like Miller to rethink their entire approach. What Miller's saying goes beyond just Clark's triple-double or even the Fever's recent hot streak. He's pointing to something bigger, a change in the WNBA landscape. When a coach of Miller's caliber takes notice of a rebuilding strategy, it's a sign that something significant is happening. You might be wondering, okay, but why is this such a big deal? Here's the thing, Miller's words reflect a changing tide in the WNBA. It's not just about one team getting hot at the right time. It's about a shift in how teams are built, how young talent is developed, and how quickly a franchise can turn things around. Miller's comments are a wake-up call to the rest of the league. The Fever aren't just winning games, they're changing the game. They've shown that with the right draft picks and the right development, a team can go from bottom dweller to contender faster than anyone thought possible. But here's where it gets really exciting. If the Fever can do this, who's next? Miller's words suggest that we might be entering a new era in the WNBA, where smart drafting and player development can lead to rapid turnarounds. It's the kind of change that could make the league more competitive and more exciting than ever before. So what does this mean for the future of the WNBA? If Miller's reaction is any indication, we're in for some major shakeups. Teams might start prioritizing draft picks more than ever. Player development could become the new holy grail of WNBA success. And most importantly, fans might see their struggling teams turn things around faster than they ever thought possible.